Is your money going to arrive on time this April? With Easter holidays disrupting payment schedules and Labour's new benefit cuts causing nationwide concern, millions of Brits are anxiously checking their bank accounts. I've got the exact dates you need to know about, plus the inside scoop on which benefits are facing the chopping block. One particular change could affect over 3 million claimants starting next month. And if you're among the 800,000 people receiving multiple benefits, you absolutely need to hear about the new, streamlining process that could change how your payments are calculated forever. Before we dive into these critical payment dates, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update about your benefits and pensions. Your financial security matters, and I'm here to keep you informed with the latest news that affects your wallet. Also, I've created a free downloadable calendar with all the payment dates for 2025. You'll find the link in the description below. Now, let's get into the details you came here for. April 2025 is shaping up to be a month of significant changes for benefit and pension recipients across the UK. With Easter falling early this year, payment schedules are shifting to ensure no one is left without their money over the bank holiday weekend. But that's not the only change on the horizon. Labour's recent announcement about benefit cuts has sent shockwaves through communities nationwide. So when exactly will your money arrive? If you're due to receive payments on Friday, April 18th or Monday, April 21st, pay attention, these dates coincide with the Easter bank holidays. The Department for Work and Pensions has confirmed that all payments normally scheduled for these dates will instead be paid on Thursday, April 17th. This affects Universal Credit, PIP, ESA, JSA, income support, and state pension payments. But what about child benefit recipients? Have you been wondering if your payment dates will change too? HMRC has confirmed that child benefit payments due on Monday, April 21st will be paid early on Thursday, April 17th. For those who receive payments on other dates, your regular schedule should remain unchanged. This is particularly important for families planning their Easter holiday budgets. Knowing that your money will arrive before the long weekend can make a significant difference to your plans. The big question on everyone's mind: how will Labour's newly announced cuts affect your specific benefits? After promising to review the benefits system during their election campaign, the government has now revealed their first wave of changes. The most significant cut targets the personal independence payment, with new assessment criteria that could see approximately 3.2 million claimants facing reductions or complete loss of this vital support. Have you been receiving PIP for mental health conditions? These changes might affect you most directly. The government has stated they intend to rebalance the system to focus more on physical disabilities, claiming that mental health support has expanded beyond its original purpose. This has sparked outrage among disability advocates, but what does it mean for your monthly payment? Let's break down the proposed PIP changes in detail. Currently, PIP assessments award points based on a range of daily living and mobility needs. Under the new system, mental health conditions will be assessed using what the government calls more objective criteria. In practice, this means that conditions like anxiety, depression, and PTSD may no longer qualify for the enhanced daily living component, potentially reducing payments by up to £67 per week for some recipients. The changes are scheduled to roll out gradually starting in June 2025, but assessment invitation letters with the new criteria will begin arriving as early as late April. For those wondering about the appeals process, yes, you will still have the right to challenge any decision about your benefits. However, the government has also announced a streamlined appeals procedure, which some legal experts are concerned may limit claimants' ability to present comprehensive evidence. Have you experienced the appeals process before? The new system will reduce the time frame for submitting additional evidence from 1 month to just 2 weeks. For those on Universal Credit, the situation appears slightly better, with no immediate cuts announced. However, the Work and Pensions Secretary has hinted at efficiency measures coming later in the year. Could this be code for future reductions? And with inflation continuing to rise, will the scheduled 1.7% increase in April actually keep pace with the cost of living? One aspect of Universal Credit that is changing is the work capability assessment process. From September 2025, new claimants with health conditions will face what the government describes as more frequent but less intensive assessments. Instead of comprehensive reviews every 3 years, some claimants may be required to attend shorter quarterly check-ins. The government claims this will provide more responsive support, but critics argue it creates additional hurdles for vulnerable individuals. Have you noticed how housing benefit calculations have become increasingly complex? Another significant change affects those receiving both universal credit and housing support. The previously separate housing element will now be fully integrated into the main universal credit calculation, with a new cap based on local average rental prices rather than actual housing costs. For many in high-cost areas, this could mean a reduction in housing support by up to £50 per month. The government defends this as creating a more equitable distribution of housing support, but tenant advocacy groups have expressed serious concerns. Pensioners might be asking themselves if the triple lock is still secure under the new government. For April 2025, the state pension will increase by 4.1% as previously planned, but Labour has announced a comprehensive review of the triple lock mechanism by autumn. Many are wondering if this signals the beginning of the end for this vital protection. What does this mean in real terms for your pension amount? The full new state pension will rise from £221.20 to £230.25 per week, while the basic state pension will increase from £169.50 to £176.45 per week. However, the rumored changes to the triple lock might introduce a smoothing mechanism that could reduce future increases by averaging inflation and wage growth over 3 years rather than taking the highest annual figure. Have you considered how this potential change might affect your long-term retirement planning? For those receiving tax credits, your payments due on April 18th, 21st, or 22nd will all be paid on April 17th. And if you're claiming attendance allowance, carer's allowance, or pension credit with payment dates falling on the bank holidays, expect these to arrive in your account on April 17th as well. But what about the much-discussed changes to carer's allowance? The government has unveiled a new, tiered approach that will link payment amounts to the number of hours spent caring. Those providing 35+ hours of care will continue to receive the full amount, increasing to £81.90 per week in April, while those providing between 20 to 34 hours will receive a new, partial allowance of £54.60 per week. This change won't take effect until October 2025, but carers are being advised to start keeping detailed logs of their caring hours now. Do you think this more graduated approach is fairer, or does it create unnecessary administrative burdens for already stretched carers? For families receiving child benefit, there's a mixed bag of news. The payment will increase by 1.7% in April, raising the weekly amount to £25.60 for the first child and £16.95 for additional children. However, the income threshold at which the high-income child benefit charge begins to apply will be frozen at £50,000 for the 5th consecutive year, pulling more middle-income families into the tax. Have you checked whether you might now be liable for this charge? The calculators on the government website have recently been updated to reflect these changes. But beyond these immediate date changes, a deeper question remains. Is this just the beginning of a larger overhaul of the benefits system? The Prime Minister has defended the cuts as necessary adjustments to ensure sustainability, but critics argue they target the most vulnerable at a time when support is needed most. Labour's manifesto promised to reform rather than reduce welfare spending, but these announcements have led many to question that commitment. Opposition parties have claimed that the total package of changes will remove approximately £3.8 billion from the welfare budget over the next 3 years. The government disputes this figure, suggesting the true impact is closer to £2.2 billion, with some of these savings being reinvested in more targeted support. A particularly controversial element of the announcement was the new, digital-first, approach to benefit applications and assessments. From June 2025, most new claims and many reassessments will be conducted through video calls rather than in-person appointments. The government argues this increases accessibility, but disability rights organizations have highlighted that many vulnerable claimants lack the necessary technology or digital skills. Is this modernization or simply cost-cutting at the expense of proper assessment? For those concerned about how these changes might affect their household budget, the government has launched a new Benefits Calculator Plus tool on their website. This interactive calculator allows you to input your current benefits and see potential changes based on the new criteria. However, early users have reported that the tool often underestimates the impact of the changes. Have you tried it yet? I'd be interested to hear your experiences in the comments. One potential silver lining in the announcement was the enhanced work and benefits support package for those transitioning off benefits into employment. This includes extended run-on payments for housing benefit, now covering the first 8 weeks of employment rather than 4, and a new work transition grant of £500 for those who have been claiming benefits for over a year. Could these incentives make returning to work more financially viable for you or someone you know? So there you have it, the complete guide to April 2025 payment dates and what Labour's benefit cuts might mean for you. Remember, if your payment doesn't arrive as expected, wait until the end of the scheduled payment day before contacting the DWP or HMRC. And if you're concerned about how these changes might affect your specific situation, I recommend booking an appointment with your local Citizens Advice Bureau, as they've received additional funding to help people navigate these changes. Has this information helped you plan for the coming month? Do you think these benefit cuts are justified, or should the government be looking elsewhere to balance the books? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For those feeling overwhelmed by these changes, remember that advance notification letters should arrive at least 6 weeks before any changes to your personal benefits, giving you time to seek advice and make necessary adjustments to your budget. I'll be covering each of these letters in detail as they're released, so make sure you're subscribed to catch those videos. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone else who might need this information. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates on benefits, pensions, and financial news that affects your daily life. I'll be doing a live Q&A session next Wednesday at 7 p.m. to answer your specific questions about these changes, so mark your calendars. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.